Okay, so welcome to editing your tracks, audio tracks, take one. So I've created a track here. You can see that it's kind of long, but you'll probably have a lot longer track when doing it. And I've got a section that I want to maybe edit out, cut. So first thing I'm going to teach you is how to edit or cut your track. Then I'll teach you how to add effects to your track, and then the last step will be labeling your track. So to edit your track, you need to have the selection tool. So that's the I right there at the top. So I have that selected. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight, let's say, a section. And then you can listen to it by hitting play. And now you can see it's playing. I'm going to mute this. So now it's playing that section. Let's say the section is something you want to cut out. So you take the section you want to cut out, you've selected it. If you press C on the keyboard, that's C on the keyboard, it'll play the first few seconds and then the few seconds after. So notice it played before and after. So then I can kind of preview what it'll sound like. If I don't like it, I can see I have the little pointer. I can always adjust that to make it a little shorter or longer. Press C and it'll play it again for me. So it's playing through. If you want to get rid of it, so that's a good edit, you want to cut it, you can either click cut or click delete, and it'll join those two tracks naturally together. Now if you make a mistake that you go whoops, you hear it again, and for some reason it doesn't sound quite right, you want to back it up, you can hit Control Z and it'll bring anything back. So it'll go back to commands you've given, a good thing. So Control Z, just like anything, brings it back. Alright, next we'll talk about effects. So let's say I'm at the beginning, I want to fade in my voice. So if you highlight the section you want, you can click on effect. It gives you a lot of different effects. So let's say I want to do fade in. Notice how it compresses it, it'll bring it up. And then at the end of the section, I want to fade out. So I can just click effect and then fade out. And notice it brings those effects in. Now again, if it sounds bad, I can always Control Z, and it brings it back the way I wanted it at the beginning. But effects won't really work unless you highlight a section. So if you don't highlight something, it's not going to just do that section, it'll do the whole thing, which can be a problem. Next thing I'm going to show you how to do labels. So this is a great thing for keeping track of your track, because you're probably going to have a really long audio track and you want to find where parts end. So what I'm going to do is, let's say I have this part and this is my introduction. I'm going to highlight the section. I'm going to hit Control B. That brings up my label track tool. And then I'm just going to call this intro. Now I've got that introduction done. And then let's say this section is my part one. So if I highlight the section, part one ends there. Control B, I can label it as part one. Alright, then it's easy for me to see which sections, where things end and where they begin. Useful for later when you're actually maybe changing music and stuff like that. Alright, don't forget to save your project when you've been working on it. So I would save it as you go. It might have a tendency to crash sometimes as you get bigger files, so it's always good to save the project as you're working. And remember, it's going to be a work file, but just make sure you save it somewhere where you can find it. Always hit computer, my name, private, and put in my documents or something. Alright, that's the end of editing take one.